about to meet a superstar. Welcome to Susiehyer. Susie, what are you going to do for us today?
Today I'm going to show you guys how to harmonize a painting using color, and it works in all mediums. Doesn't matter whatever. If you're using color in your painting, I'm going to show you how you can achieve some harmony, some color harmony in your work by using a mother color.
I think that that's a really important thing. You know, I painted for years and years and years before anybody ever even suggested color harmony, and it was not on my radar. And yet once it became on my radar and I started to understand it, the world changed. And so this is going to be good. Let's get right to it. Let's get started, shall we?
All right. Well, I want to, there's a couple of different ways that we can harmonize using color. And I'm going to show you some examples of those first.
Okay.
When I talk about using a mother color, basically what I'm doing is I'm designating one color on my palette to put in all of my mixtures. So every color statement, every value is going to have a little bit of whatever this color is. I'm going to do it when I demo. I'm going to do it with burnt sienna because I want to compare it to something else. We're actually going to do a little experiment today. One of the ways I'm going to do it and to show you is by using a glaze, and so that'll be the first part of what I do. But I want to show you examples of what you can do using color harmony in this method to sort of achieve. You can create different moods in your paintings by doing this, and so I'm going to show you a couple of examples of that.
Terrific.
This is there's glare on this, isn't there? This is an example of using a red, a cad red. Thank you. A cad red light is in every mixture on this painting, and so what it did for this painting was it gave a feeling of that late afternoon light. You know, that golden hour when you get the more infrared coming down. So that's one. This is using a light yellow. So it's like a cad lemon or a cad yellow light. And you can use as much or as little of the mother color in your mixtures as you want. And you'll get different effects that way. So this is one using the same color. I did this one. I'm hoping this isn't having the glare. And my goal in this one was to do a high key painting. So I set up two goals for myself. One was to do a high key painting, and one was to do it using the mother color of a lighter yellow. And you can see it gives a really different effect, more of that bright morning light. So you can use this in conjunction with the kind of light that you're trying to achieve as well. So purple, bingo, what do you have? You have a nocturne, right? Everything is harmonized with, there's still a lot of glare on this. Everything is harmonized with a purple. There's a purple that I used a mixture of alizarin and ultramarine in every mixture in this painting, and it looks like a nocturne. So that was one mood that was created doing that. Okay, you know that slop that's in the bottom of your paint can when you're done painting and you pour it off and let it settle? If you're a landscape painter, especially if you're painting a lot of green, that slop is going to be a sort of a grayish green. And so I did an experiment one day up in Estes Park, and I said, I'm going to use this grayish green slop as mother color in my painting, and this is the result of that. And so it looks like it's a rainy day. Let me see if I can get this closer. So the mood on that was completely different because of the mother color that we used in it. Another experiment I did was I was painting at the lake near our house, and I wasn't happy with the value range. The painting wasn't going well, so I just threw caution to the wind. I said, I'm going to experiment on this painting. And I took yellow ochre, and I said, what I'm going to do is put yellow ochre in a mixture that approximates each value. So for the value of the sky, for instance, I said, as long as this is the same value as the sky, we can lay this down right on top. So instead of mixing it in the mixture, I put the yellow ochre in the same value right on top of each big value mass. And this was the result. It's kind of crazy, but it was really cool. And it gave the effect of a fall day, which was, I don't even know what time of year it was, but it wasn't fall. So the point is that using the mother color in color harmony can give you a different mood for your painting and a completely different look than actually what you're, if you're plein air painting, instead of painting what's actually there. I do a lot of experiments even when I'm painting outside. So I love the surprise that you get from that. This was another one I did with yellow ochre, and I put it right on top. So you can see in here and in here, the brush work, that yellow ochre was in the ferrule of the brush. And when I laid it down hard, it laid, the yellow ochre came out of the ferrule, laid right on top. And every mixture, every stroke in here has some of that yellow ochre in there. And so that gave a completely different feeling to what was here. It doesn't look anything like the actual scene. But
so that's almost like
almost
like a glaze. Almost like a glaze.
Sort of like a glaze. And that's one of the things I'm going to do. Here, let's do that. Let's do that now. Because I think, oh, wait, there's one more thing I want to show you before we go to that. Another way you can harmonize a painting through color is in a light and shadow painting like this one. You can put one mother color into everything that's in the light and one mother color into everything that's in the shadow. So in this painting, because it was a winter scene and the light is generally cool in January and February, and we were painting this, I was painting on location outside for this one, I used a cool yellow, so it was probably like a cad yellow light, and I put a cool yellow into every mixture that was the pieces that were in the light. So where the light's hitting the snow, where the light's hitting those weeds in the front, the trees in the back. By the same token, I decided to put a purplish gray, so sort of a complement, into every mixture that was in the shadow. So everything that's sitting in the shadow has that purplish gray into it. And so that gives a completely different effect. I actually meant to bring the sketch of this to show you the actual colors that were on the scene, and I forgot my little sketchbook, so sorry about that. But this will harmonize a painting between the light and the shadow. So that was a fun experiment. I think a lot of times when I paint, I'm thinking more about what can I do that's different? What can I learn? What's my goal for this painting? I'm always trying to learn something. So for the glazing, I brought a painting that I've experimented on a lot, and wasn't, it's an old painting, and so I don't care about using it as an experiment. I've already done a few experiments on this. But what I'm going to do on this one, can we move this up to here now?
I'll tell you what, while you're moving your camera and setting up, I'll just say hi to folks.
Perfect.
All right. Excuse me. Hi, I'm Eric Rhoads, and I'm on day number 368. Wow. Oh, no, I'm sorry. 300. I saw 368. That was a different number. Day number 330. And we're coming up on on day 350 soon and day 365, and my voice is showing it, I think. Well, I hope you're well today. We are in Austin, Texas, and we're safe, but not everybody here is, of course. The big Texas storm has been crazy. We managed to keep electricity so far, knock wood. We have broken pipes. We don't have any water in the house. We have water in the garage and water spewing outdoors, and our water main is off and still the water is running, so we're not sure what's going on. Anyway, that's what we're dealing with here, but we're happy to be here, happy to be alive, and happy to be here for you. Our guest today is Susiehyer, and excuse me, I'm sorry. And we're going to learn about color harmony in case you just tuned in. And we'll be back here now with Susiehyer. Are you back? There you are.
I'm back. And
okay, good.
I want value specs.
Oh, we'll get you a pair.
Thank you, Eric. Okay, so
you may have to wait till the manufacturer is. We'll find them. We'll find them.
I'll have to talk to somebody there. Okay, so this is just one way to do it, and this is a real quick way. What I'm doing is I'm making a mixture of liquid, and I'm throwing some burnt sienna in it. And I'm
You're going to need to talk a little bit louder for us, Susie, because of the facing away from the camera.
Okay, I'm going to do this facing the camera. So I'm mixing a little bit of burnt sienna in with a big pile of liquid, and I'm going to take this painting, and I'm going to put it over the whole painting. Just really quickly.
And what color is that? Burnt sienna?
Burnt sienna. I thought it would be fun to do this because the other demo I'm doing is using burnt sienna as the mother color, and I actually want to see what's going to happen in terms of comparing the two between a glazing type of harmonizing the painting and actually putting the paint in each. Putting the burnt sienna in each mixture.
When I first started painting, that's one of my first instructors taught me that he would glaze. He had a particular color he used almost in all cases, which I think was I don't remember, maybe a sap green or something. And he would glaze them, and the color harmony was amazing. What's amazing to me is how much that light is popping. All of a sudden.
Yeah, you're so right. Yeah, this is interesting. It's almost like, I think if I put more burnt sienna in here, I think this eventually would end up looking like an old timey painting. You know what I mean? Those, those, what do you call those? Sepia toned.
Yeah.
Paints. So I'm just slapping
on camera. It almost looks like an Indian yellow.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that's one way to do it. To go back into your painting and to just do that with a glaze.
You also can wipe out certain spots if you don't want that glaze. Is that right?
Yeah, you totally could. All right, so that
dramatically changed that painting.
You're able to see that pretty good, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's going to be interesting to compare this with when I actually go to that.
Okay.
Let's put that away. There's a couple of other ways to well, there's lots of ways to do this, and in this one I'm going to do one color, but you know, you can also do it with dirty brushes and dirty turp. The fact that you are using, you know, if you don't clean your brushes that well and you're using that dirty turp, and that's going to mix in with your other mixtures. So, you know, that, like, say you wanted to stuff grayed down, but you don't really want to mix a gray color into every mixture. Just having dirty brushes will kind of help harmonize those things, will kind of gray things down. Another way to do it is with a limited palette. I mean, I think it's kind of obvious if you were to, for instance, use a, what's the classic, ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson, and yellow ochre and white. If you only use those three, or let's say you use 5, eventually you're going to have every color in every other color, and that will serve to harmonize the painting as well. You can do it with complements. You can take like in that painting, the light and shadow painting, you could take a yellow and put it into every purplish mixture. You could take a purple and to put it in every yellowish mixture. That would sort of bring a little bit of harmony too. There's so many ways to skin this cat and to play around with it. And it's really fun, just taking a painting and go, let's do this. Let's see what happens if I do that, So for this demo, what I've done is this is a painting that actually my assistant here, Doug, did. We went out to Fort Lupton, oh my God, maybe 15 years ago. This is an old painting, but I did a whole series of paintings on the sketches that I got from that. And I actually haven't sold this painting because I'm in love with it and it's a great memory. But I'm using this as a jumping off point for this demo. So what I've done is separate these into 4 different ones using like basically a sketch. So I call this, whenever I want to do an experiment, I kind of use this sort of formula. And I call this my sky, mountain, tree, field formula or something to that effect. And I'll just use this so that I have 3 or 4 big value shapes or big value statements. And then I can work within that. So it's important to have a structure to work within or to experiment within. So I just slapped this together just to show you that this is actually what's underneath each of these pieces or each of these separate paintings. And so in this painting, this one was harmonized with alizarin crimson. So there's alizarin in every mixture, even though these all look really similar. There's alizarin in every mixture of this one. In this one, I did ultramarine blue. And you can see it's got a little bit of different mood. It's almost like this one sort of looks like those summer days where it's a little more hazy. In this one, I used a cat orange. So every mixture that's on here has a little cat orange in it.
And for the benefit of everybody who just tuned in late, what you're saying is you're putting a little bit of that one color in every color you use, even the shadow colors and the blues. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But see, in this other one, I didn't. I put a different color in the shadow from the one that's in the light.
Right. You had a mother color in the shadow and a separate mother color in the light.
Exactly. But for the purposes of the demo, I thought it'd be easy to just do one color. And what I want to do is use burnt sienna as the mother color for doing this one. So let's get started on that.
So in that case, you did an underpainting with the burnt sienna only.
Yeah, I just toned the canvas basically and put in, here's where the big shapes are. So it's just a wash. So I didn't have to think about that. So let's see, Turp can. This is it, right? Yeah. Okay. Since I'm in somebody else's studio, I'm not used to painting in somebody else's studio.
Yeah, Susie went to a lot of trouble. She drove in a snowstorm last night for an hour and a half to get to this studio so she'd have internet that would be good enough for this broadcast. So, Susie, you are a trooper.
Thank you. I know it's in my best interest. Okay, so I'm going to start. Normally what I would do in a painting is I generally lay my darks in first, but that's going to make a mess out of this turp. And so I think what I'm going to do is work light to dark. So in this, I'm going to work in this sky value shape first, and underneath this really would have been a blue, and this is a cerulean blue. So
how many colors do you have out on your palette? If your friend there could maybe aim down to the palette real quickly so we could see the palette.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to let you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I guess it's not going to work. Oh, there we go.
He's dark. He can do anything.
Yeah. All right. So you have, that gives a string of a warm and cool of each color. Plus it looks like you have a green in there.
Yeah, I have a sap green and a phthalo. And I actually almost said, ooh, let's change things up and let's do let's do phthalo green as a mother color. And then I went, oh no, that could be completely frightening. So I decided to stick with my original plan. So I'm mixing up the color for this sky, and I'm going to.
I think we ought to make you change it.
Huh?
Just to do it. I think we should make you change it just to see.
We'll do that another time.
Okay. I'm glad you're strong.
So this actually has a blue in it, and I've put the burnt sienna sort of on top of it. I've mixed it in, but it's still gonna give I'm using a lot of liquid too, so this will slide easier. I'm painting on a canvas that is basically eating my brushes alive, eating my brushes for breakfast.
What is?
The canvas, it's a really coarse sort of weave.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, it'll work for them, all right. So you can even see the difference in the color of the skies on each of these. But when I put the other colors in, this is going to read like a sort of a bluish.
Okay.
And, the thing is, you can put as little as you want, or as little or as much as you want of the mother color in your mixture. It just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. I can see I'm going to put more paint. So this shape, this back sort of mountain range was blue. And I'm going to start with a mixture of blue and white for that. And of course, I'm going to mix a little bit of this burnt sienna in there. But we still want it to read a little bit bluish. It'll be, because of the burnt sienna, it'll be sort of a grayed down blue. Oh man, I need a lot of paint. It's eating my brushes and my paint. Let's see what this does. What happens if so I can go back and refine all these shapes later, and refine the drawing of it. But for right now, I'm just going to get the big value shapes in. So the next piece down is a purplish kind of color, and that had alizarin and ultramarine in it. Get rid of those now.
So do you have kind of a thought process? You tell yourself, if I want my painting to feel warm, I'm going to put cad red into everything, or orange, or do you just kind of figure it out as you go?
Well, if I've decided on the mother color early on, then it's not really a big deal. I can tweak either of the mixtures either way, as long as that mother color is in there. Truthfully, Eric, I try not to think too hard. It just hurts my brain. But yeah, I mean, you could do that. The possibilities with this are pretty broad. Okay, that's a little bit light. I want to darken that. Yeah, do I have a thought process? That could be a dangerous question.
I'm sorry, I don't want you to hurt yourself.
Yeah, it's too early for that.
Okay, I'm curious where people are watching from. I want you to post if you think you're the farthest away. I've already seen New Zealand. That's pretty far. Hawaii.
Hello, Hawaii.
Croatia. All right, Croatia. What type of brand or brush are you using?
I knew you were going to ask me that. This is, it's a Gray Matters.
Oh yeah, Jack Richardson Company.
Yeah, I love those guys. And it's one of those, I think it's called an Egbert. I like these really, it's like a long filbert, but I really like these because you can be really expressive. Normally I'd be standing back here, just conducting the orchestra. But
the Gray Matters brushes have the silver part or the gold part. What do they call it? The ferrule. They have them in gray, so that when you're out painting outdoors or you're painting under lights, you don't blow your eyes out from the reflection.
It's true.
Hello, Calgary. Remember, you guys can win a prize today, a plein air magazine apron. This is the prize today. If you leave comments. I don't know why my voice is all raspy today.
I need more liquid. Oh, thank you.
Probably from stomping through the snow and crawling under the house.
There's my brush holder.
Yeah, be careful with that.
Yeah.
They say don't do it because you don't want that stuff in your mouth.
I know. You have to wonder how much paint we eat over the course of a lifetime, though, don't you?
Yeah, well, when they do an autopsy on your liver, you're going to find out.
Well, I won't be around to be upset about it.
Well, we'll tell you when we meet you in heaven. So
Yeah.
Mumbai, wow, Mumbai, welcome. UK, Quebec, Dubrovnik Island, Korkula.
God bless you.
I butchered it.
Gesundheit. Okay, so these mountains in the background, these hills or mountains or whatever, we call them hills out here in Colorado. These are going to be a little lighter in value than what's in the front. You can see that the stuff from the ferrule of my brushes is working its way into here, but that's not a bad thing either. You know, it adds to the expression. Eating up my brush. Okay, so
Italy, right.
My goal right now is to just get these big value shapes in, and I can go back in and tweak everything later. So the shape of this field was originally, what is it? Yellow ochre, and mixed with some white. And so I'm going to mix that up in the appropriate value for that, and then add some of the burnt sienna to it, just like we're adding the burnt sienna to every mix that we do.
Right. Hello, Kamloops, British Columbia, Moscow. We're coming to see you in September.
Oh,
wow. Edinburgh, Hungarian living in Edinburgh. Guatemala. Outstanding. We are in day number 330, and our guest today is Susiehyer. If you've just tuned in, she's teaching us how to build harmony in a painting by adding what she calls a mother color into all the paint mixtures, one particular mother color, so that it creates harmony. How'd I do?
sounds good to me, Eric. I think you did get the Reader's Digest version, but you're better at that than I am.
Nova Scotia, welcome. We showed her, somebody asked about your palette. We showed her doing that before. It's kind of hard to move the camera back and forth. So maybe
do it again if you'd like.
Let's do it one more time, just showing putting the mixture in. I think that would be helpful.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
right.
So on this shape, I'm mixing white, the yellow ochre, which was the main color in this little sketch. Remember that little sketch?
Yeah, yeah.
And then taking the mother color, which is straight burnt sienna, and throwing that, I'm going to need more of that, throwing that in that mixture as well.
All right.
That's going to, every mixture in here is going to have that burnt sienna in it.
All right, great. Thank you.
These paintings are going to look very similar, but there'll be a slight difference in sort of the mood.
Hello, Istanbul. Susie, this is so much fun hearing from people around the world. It's so
Yeah.
exciting.
Let's see. Oh, thank you.
I think we need a painting trip to Istanbul.
That sounds like fun.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to France with you.
I'm not going to France, but you can come with me.
One of these.
Actually, we're talking about a French trip. We had a discussion about it a couple of days ago for our
Oh, cool. I'm down. Okay, now for this, this is kind of a river that was running through down on our plains in Colorado. We have these big cottonwood trees and these riparian areas where these cottonwoods would grow. So that's kind of what this was representative of. That value is going to be lighter. All right, so we're sticking some of this little bits of this creek in here. And you know, my main thing is to make sure that each of these values is sort of has its own identity, and that the proportions of each one are a little bit different, because we don't want any of the big value shapes competing with each other. This will eventually be a smaller shape. But I don't want to go too light because I don't want it to compete with either that or this sky area.
So you want it to be less, you want it to be less than the sky because it's reflecting the sky.
I want
darker than the sky.
a lot of times, I guess the general rule is, and it really depends, and it actually depends on what you're looking at, but mostly what the sky reflecting into a lake or a creek or something like that, this is going to be generally a darker value than the sky. At least that's what the rule says.
Okay.
Doesn't mean you can't break the rules. You know how to do that.
I wonder who made the rule.
Yeah, who made those rules?
Yeah, really.
Carlson. My
Yeah,
sister
Carlson.
says it's John Carlson. So
Yeah,
I guess
he's gone now.
so he won't know.
He'll know.
Nobody tells him, he won't know.
He watches. They have internet in heaven.
That's scary.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I want my dead relatives knowing what I've done in my life.
I bet they'd be very proud of you, Eric.
Yes, I'm sure they would. I think we better not go down that path.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, so we're doing color harmony. Susiehyer is doing a painting demo, and she's putting a master color or a mother color into all of her mixes to create a harmonious painting. And each of the ones that you see surrounding that painting were done same painting, different mother color. It's pretty cool. You went to a lot of work to prepare this, Susie.
Yeah, I did a lot of prep work.
That's the
It
mark.
wasn't about the preparation; it's about the execution.
Mark of a true pro. And you are. And when you come to the plein air convention, you're a superstar. You should be signing autographs. Everybody loves watching you.
Shucks.
On every painting.
On every painting.
Yeah. Sadly, we're having to shut down the plein air convention this year. We thought we were going to be able to keep it, but it was just too soon. May is too soon.
Oh, that's
so we're doing an online plein air live in April, and we'll have people from instructors and people watching from multiple countries. It's going to be fun.
Well, at least you got something going on. And
yeah, trying.
Really foresee that.
The question is, is it best for a mother color to be a transparent color?
No, it could be anything.
Okay.
but that would be part of the fun, is experiment with some transparent colors and then some in another painting, some opaque colors, and see what the difference is.
Okay.
It's amazing how much you learn by just taking a simple little, I mean, this was a piece of mat board. And you can work any of this stuff out, like, so on a piece of gessoed mat board or cardboard. I know that Gorilla Painter sells those cardboard panels, you know. Those are great to experiment on, but you could do it on anything. I like I said, I forgot my sketchbook, but I just have a little 6x6 or 6x8 sketchbook that's spiral bound so that I can keep it open and clip it to an easel. And I do a lot of the preliminary sketches in oil in that.
In the book.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Okay.
actually look really cool. That's why I'm so
Quickly, for the people who tuned in late, what was the mother color in each of the other three paintings?
This one was alizarin crimson, ultramarine blue, cat orange, and this is burnt sienna.
Yeah, and you used the same palette for all of them, though. Otherwise,
Exactly, and the same large value statement. So each of these was blue. Each of these sky shapes was blue to begin with. Each of these field shapes was yellow ochre. Each of these is a combination of, burnt sienna and the scary color, phthalo green.
Phthalo. Okay. Do you gesso your sketchbook pages?
No, I just paint right on the paper.
Okay.
And the paints I use are really oily, so they don't necessarily like glide over the paper. The paper will suck up that oil, and it actually makes a really cool effect. I'm really bummed I forgot that sketchbook.
You're bummed.
I'm
You're
bummed.
a child of the 60s. What paint brand are you?
You gave it away, Eric.
What paint brand are you using?
Of paint?
Yeah.
It's Daler Rowney Georgian.
Okay. All right.
It's you know what? I use whatever I can get my hands on, whatever I've won in a show or whatever anybody gives me or whatever's cheap. I like to paint on, this is probably my least favorite surface to paint on, but I like to paint on.
Then don't tell us what that one is.
No, I don't want to give it a bad name. I don't want to slam anybody. Maybe later.
Okay, let's keep painting. We've got South Africa tuning in. Hello, South Africa.
I'll make this darker.
We've got about, let's see, 15 minutes left.
Okay.
Just so you have a feel for that.
All right. I'm going to darken.
Thank you guys for tuning in today. What would be very helpful to Susie and to Eric would be if you would just hit that share button right now. And if you are watching on YouTube, if you would hit that subscribe button. And if you're new to all of this, this is day 330. And we have done this every day since coronavirus began to help you out, help you have something to keep your head in the game. And so everything is on the YouTube channel if you subscribe. Everything, all, let's see, 660 broadcasts, because remember, there's 2 different ones a day. Hello, South Wales. I want to go and paint there, too. Looks like fun. I've been to South Wales, but I've never painted there. Yeah, I look at life, Susie, at life. I have kind of life in two worlds, life before painting and life after painting. And I used to travel and do photographs and loved doing that. But now I wish I had painted all those places. So I have to go back and paint them. I'll bet you're the same.
Yeah, definitely. Where's your trash can, Doug?
There.
Oh, basket.
2 points.
Points.
2 points.
Australia. All right.
So within this field shape, there's a lot of variation of slight variation of color and value, but I want to make sure that I don't what I call jump ship or jump shape we don't want any of these values to compete with any of the other major value shapes. But I have to put some kind of variety in here. So back into that yellow ochre mixture, I can mix maybe a little bit of cad red light. That'll give me some variation. Let's darken that, making sure we have more of the burnt sienna, the mother color, in there. And just getting some variation in this field shape without going too dark.
So Norway, welcome. There's a question, are the 600 videos, the recordings of all these shows are in YouTube under Streamline Art Video, and you can find those recordings there, but you got to hit the subscribe button to get them all. If they're not under subscribe now, they will be soon. We're going to pull them out of public domain and put them into subscribe only. And we don't know if we'll continue this or not once we're all out and free. So we're doing it. We're doing it. I made a commitment. I thought it was going to be a 2-week commitment. So now it's a little more than 2 weeks. And we did it 7 days a week for 7 months, 2 times a day. And now we do 5 days a week for the 12 noon and 7 days a week for the 3 p.m. And yesterday we almost didn't get it out because tech crew had no power and they had to go elsewhere to find power and internet. They could have come over here, but you know, it's hard to travel in the snow. We don't have snowplows in this part of Texas.
I think it's time. I think with climate change, you guys are going to have to just sort of figure something else out.
Yeah. Yep. I'm going to have to figure out how to get pipes that won't burst. Maybe I'll sell this house and build a new one.
There you go.
Probably cheaper than trying to redo all the pipes.
Can you guys see the
Yep.
the subtle color changes? Is it showing up? Okay, so
You bet.
Some of them had a little more yellow. Some of them had alizarin. Some of them had cad red light. Let's see what would happen if I did a mixture that had some cerulean blue in it. You know, it's like my thing. It's like, let's see what happens if, right? So let's put some of that in there, a little bit of cerulean in with the yellow ochre, and maybe we could go a little darker with that, just for some variation in there, as long as it's not too dark. That's a little blue, but see, it's still got that burnt sienna in it, so it should work. So I'm just making a variety of colors and slight value shifts, just to show you, that you can have variety and richness within a large shape with this too. So from here, I would go in and maybe put in some of the, there's a little bit of light shining up on those peaks. I could do that. I could go back over this sky piece with a little bit more of a blue shape if I wanted. I could push each of these shapes more towards the original color, or I could take this entire thing and tone it down to where it's even more burnt sienna than it's anything else. But I wanted to keep these as similar as possible, just to show you that there's like a different mood to each of these, and you can use the color harmony or the mother color to harmonize that painting to create some of those moods. So
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. And
well, I'm going to do that. I'm working on a piece right now, and I've been struggling with trying to give it a sense of afternoon light, and I think that's going to be my solution.
Are you willing to just blow it up if it doesn't work? I mean,
oh, I blow up paintings all the time.
Okay, then
Yeah.
try the glazing thing that we did earlier with this painting, and see what happens if you if you put a glaze on it of whatever color you decide. And if you
Well,
don't,
if you don't like it, you can always wipe it down and
you
paint
can
over
wipe
it.
it off. You just wipe it off.
I think the one thing that is the greatest lesson that I was ever taught for painting, wise words were don't fall in love with your work. Be willing to try anything.
Yeah. Until later, after it's done, then you can fall in love with it. You know, I mean, why did I keep this painting around for 15 years? You know, I'm in love with it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm in love with it too. It's time for you to send it to somebody else who loves it. Just saying.
I have a lot of paintings I'd be happy to send to somebody else. That's not one of them.
I won't sell my studies because to me, my studies are a memory of my life. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about putting them all in a book and telling the story behind each one because they all have a story. And they're not they're not necessarily great paintings because they're studies, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's like all your studies are kind of like, you know, before digital, we used to keep photo albums, right? And now it's like all of the paintings that you've done all over the place, those are your photos, those are your memories.
Well, and you know what'll happen, the difference between now and then is, you know, we used to grow up and look through the photo albums from our grandparents and great grandparents and so on. We don't have that.
Yeah.
And our hard drives will disappear and our kids won't know where our stuff is. It's a big problem. And that's why I think portraiture is even more important than ever again, because and self-portraits. Every artist ought to be doing a self-portrait at least once every couple of years.
Oh God, you are so right. I didn't think about that.
Of course I'm right.
Of course you're right.
Well, I just, I love to go to museum shows and have them have a portrait of the artist that somebody painted. And, you know, I think artists as a general rule should paint each other and should try to do self-portraits. And I love studies. So, you know, the first thing I default to when I go to a museum, I try to find the plein air studies because to me, they are just rich with energy. I just love them.
Well, Eric, you've had so many people paint your portraits. I've seen a lot of paintings of you.
Yeah, there's about, I don't know, 26 or 30 so far. It's getting harder and harder to do because I insist they do them from life. So, you know, it's hard to sit for a portrait.
Well, and you have so much time to just sit around, you know.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I have plenty of time. I'm very organized. And if you believe that.
So I can go back into this and refine it till the cows come home.
When are the cows coming home?
I don't
5
know.
minutes. Cows are coming home in 5 minutes.
They're not allowed because of COVID.
Oh.
But
I have not seen
I could keep going on this and keep going on this. And as my friend Doug says, anything worth doing is worth overdoing. So we know how that goes.
My wife's saying is it's not done till it's overdone.
I like that. I'm going to use that. So if I wanted to even, I could go back into, let's say, this sky shape, and I could take that blue. Oops, too much. I'll show you one thing. I could take that blue and put it back on top of this. And even though this has the burnt sienna in it, oh, that's a little bit much. It'll still give that sense of the blue sky.
So you're putting blue without burnt
Without
sienna
the burnt sienna, because and I'm just slapping it on here, but what's underneath here is the color that does have the burnt sienna in it. So if I wanted to push that more blue, as long as I keep some burnt sienna in that, I can do it. On the other hand, I can take it in the other direction.
You know, the other thing that you just did that I love that some painters teach is the idea of deconstructing a painting, you know, taking a palette knife, scraping out parts of it so it gives it a rougher look.
Yeah, and that's really cool if you have paint underneath it, because some of that underpainting can come through, and that gives it a really cool look. So in
So,
this,
Susie, we got about 3 minutes left.
oh God. Quick, paint fast, paint like you mean it. I
My
just want to show you.
brother-in-law is a comedy writer. I'll say, quick, be funny.
Okay, so this is just burnt sienna and white, which I'm now putting over the blue. But you can see that even gives it a different look. Is that showing up on the screen?
Oh, yeah.
See that?
You could do that on the grass in the foreground too, couldn't you?
I could do it anywhere.
Yeah.
So I hope that gives sort of a general idea of, just some of the different moods that you can create. And, the other good news is that if you're out painting and you run out of one color, you can just harmonize with any other color you've got, improvise.
Okay, so let's have you come back on camera and we'll say goodbye.
Oh, no, I want to compare.
Oh, okay.
One big
Oh,
comparison.
yeah.
Both are burnt sienna, both have a
Okay,
different
which
feel.
one do you like better?
I kind of like the way this came out with the
Yeah, I do
glaze.
too. I think the glazing, that sunlight looks so rich.
Yeah, it really did make a richer,
I'm
and then
gonna try that with burnt sienna because I like to glaze with Indian yellow, or the Chinese orange is one of my favorite colors, but sometimes they're a little bitey, a little too acidic yellow, and that looks like it's a little bit more pleasing.
it's more warm.
More warm. That's what I'm looking for.
And the burnt sienna will sort of naturally gray things down when they're in the mixture. So anyway, we've talked about a number of different ways of kind of how to harmonize with color, mostly using a mother color or color the light, color the shadow. And if all else fails, you can harmonize another way too. Sing to
Okay.
you.
Do you play the harmonica?
I play on road trips. I play when
All
I'm
right.
in the car.
First off, we need you on stage at the plein air convention when we get the band together.
Okay.
And I need you to play us a song. No pressure. Right now.
Right now.
Look, you're the one that brought it out. You can't just bring it out. Wow. I'm impressed. I was ready to go get my guitar and join you.
Ooh.
But this guitar needs a string, so I couldn't do that. That's my excuse. Susie, you are a multi-talented person. We are so impressed with you. Now everybody has to share this one because nobody in the history of this show that has no name has ever played the harmonica. So that was fabulous. And you taught us a lot. Move over a little so we can see you on screen a little more. Go the other way. There you go. You taught us a lot today. You taught us about color harmony through glazing, taught us about color harmony by putting different colors, mother colors into the paint. If you tuned in late and you didn't really understand what was going on, go back and watch the replay. And also, please share this because everybody needs to hear what Susie has to say. Susie, you're a great teacher. I'm honored to have you on the show.
Oh, I'm so happy that you did.
We should probably tell where to find you. You have a website, right?
Mm-hmm. Susiehyrstudio.com.
Okay, I've got it on the screen now, Susiehyrstudio.com. Susie, thank you so much. And you went to all the trouble to go drive an hour and a half through the snow and preparing all these paintings. You were a true pro. So thank you for